M0FXB, welcome to the Yaesu FT-710, and we're going to do a bit of a beginner's guide. I'm quite a beginner myself because I've never had this style radio, whether it's the FT-10 101 and this one here. So straight away you turn on the radio and you're going to see the 3D scope when it first boots up, and this is what it looks like. So if that's a bit too strong for you, the quickest way to sort of reduce that a bit is to go function, press the level here. And then once you press level there, have you noticed that it now says level here? We can now adjust that to say minus something, and then you're going to have a scope that you can see properly rather than it taking over the whole screen. Now you can expand it just by pushing the expand button. Okay, so if you want to enter a frequency, all you do is you can either hit the band button here and choose the popular bands like 20 meters. There's a slight delay, and then turn the VFO like so. Now you can adjust the step. You just go function, operation settings, go to general, and then tap tuning, and then you've got your channel steps here, so you can change your channel steps in this selection. Just tap one of them like so, and then just turn it with this function knob here and back out, and that's how you change the steps. The other way is, let's go back all the way. You can change the frequency a lot faster with this knob here. We'll call it the DSP knob, okay? Or you can tap here and you can more fine tune there, and there is another fine tune button here, and the fine tune appears on the screen as well, look, and you can fine tune even more. Okay, so the RF gain is here. So if you turn the RF gain back, you'll see the needle go up there, and that's your RF gain going back. Now you can turn that into squelch if you're in FM. You'll push the function, then you get the operation settings, then select general, and then here, see it says RF squelch VR. If you tap it, you can now turn the function knob right and left. You can either have squelch FM only, and that way you get the best of both worlds, or you can go back, you can have either squelch or RF. I recommend squelch FM only. That works best for me. So then you just back out. There's a back button, and just remember that whenever you hit the function, you get the sort of radio settings along here in blue, and that's very handy. But anything you select on here will be put here at the top, and you can adjust it with the function button. So let's just say the dimmer for the screen. Tap that, it says dimmer here now, and we can now turn this and go bright and dark. There you go. Push it again. Some of the obvious ones are like power, RF power. It says RF power here. You can go up and down. And then, so another one is the mode. So you select mode, and then you've got your AM, FM, LSB, USB. Tap the one. This window only stays on for so long. Now if you push preset, so we'll push mode again and tap preset, then it will go to a preset. And if you hold that down, it does time out. Hold the blue down where it says preset, and now you've got the 5 presets that you can do. And the idea for this is you can have preset settings, and then you can refer back to them whenever you want. You don't have to change all the settings in the radio every time you try a new mode out. So go back on that, turn the preset off, and then we'll just back out of that, or it'll just time out on its own. Now the tuner's nice and easy. If we just go to 40 meters, so we'll go band, select 40. Just make sure there's no one there. Obviously that's your volume up and down. And then we'll just turn the tuner on with one touch. The tuner now says on, and we keep the power low, so it's on 5 watts, and then we'll just tune it. I'm using an LW20DX wire with a 9-to-1 balun, and I'll hold it down, and it tunes, yeah? 3-to-1 tuner. Okay, I've tested it and it works fine. Okay, now let's say we want to go into memory mode. We're in VFO now, see it says VFO A. We want to go into memory mode, we just tap that. Now we've got no memory channel, so let's put one in there. So there's one here. Let's hold down the VM button. The memory list come up. Let's select where we want it to go. Just tap the screen, and then this time we'll hold down the VM button again. And we've got our memory channel in there, and then we can tap name, and then we'll just call it HF for now. Enter, and you've got a memory channel, and then you can back out. You can change the memory channels with this button here. Let's go memory mode, and then look, there's your memory channels changing. Right, okay, we'll stay in VFO for now, VFO A, and then you've got VFO A, VFO B, VFO A, VFO B. You'll see them change. A there and B, and when you push it, they basically swap. So the other thing that's quite handy is split mode. That's very good. So watch, split mode, and now you're TXing on the B band, let's say, and receiving on the A band, and you can set them differently. That's quite handy. The other thing you've got here, across here, you've got ATT. Tap that. You've got the different gains and attenuation there. And then you've got the amplifier, which is IPO. So the recommended one is just to leave it on IPO, but you've got amplifier 1 and 2. Okay, now DNR. So push DNR, and that's like a noise reduction facility. When you push it, it activates it. Let's see if we can find a station, and we'll come out of split mode and see if we can find a station.
Anyway, everyone's been a great signal. Very steady 5 and 8 with me, Martin. You're not as strong as GB3RS, but I wonder, has anything
changed? So that's the DNR on.
As regards the antenna that they're using today? Because
that's off.
GB3RS has been a massive
hold it down.
Compared to previous.
Turn it to about 4. Go back.
Yeah, no, nothing's changed.
So that's with it on.
I know. Everything's just running on the multiband dipole. So hopefully should
hold it again, go a bit higher.
Other days, and I think Dave was running 200 watts to that, same as I'm running to my aerial here, so it probably goes to show that the
but it does get rid of all that sound. It's almost like you're on the phone. So anyway, another one here. See this funky little graph that's going off here in the background? Tap that, and then you get these functions here: shift, width, notch, and contour. So the way you adjust them is you tap it, and then push this DSP button again, and you can adjust the item. And then, same goes for all 4 things there, and then just it will time out on its own. You can actually either tap the screen or push the DSP button to bring that up. Another thing you can do is choose a different screen color. You can push function. Up here it says color, and you get all this list of colors. Choose the one you like, and you've chose your color. And you can do that if you're in the, let's back out, the 3D or the normal waterfall. And some people like that. And don't forget you've got the expand there. And you can change the span. So you see the graphs now, the waterfall is covering that section. You can change that. It's 200K. You can change it to say 1000K, and it will cover a much wider part of the band. Now remember, this radio does do digital modes, and they're all here. Data, data, data. You've got a USB cable in the back. Let's have a look which modes are listed there. You've got PSK, RTTY. And I believe it will send CW. I don't think it doesn't decode CW, but I believe it will send it. You've got a quick memory function here. You hold it down, and you can put things into the quick memory just for very quick, referral. So let's just say you're in a memory channel, so memory mode there, and you want to put that into VFO because you want to change it slightly. Just push that button there, and it's put the memory channel into your VFO. Tucked away down here, you have a DSP reset button as well, which resets the defaults. I've noticed here you've got a receive and transmit LED up here, but I've noticed that you don't tend to see it when you're in SSB, but when I was in FM, I saw it. So it sort of works with the squelch. Remember, we set the squelch to work in FM? So I turn the squelch, look green, then if I TX, it goes red. You can see that there. I mean, there's so many menus, but, you've got CW settings there, and Kia, radio settings, and, quite extensive. Operation settings, TX audio, RX, DSP. You can change so many things. Display settings, all kinds of external monitor, of course. We've got the cable coming for that later. Extension settings, you can calibrate, you can reset the radio, you can upgrade the firmware. Remember now, there is an SD card which plugs in here. I'll just take my one out so you can see which way around it goes. Just push it and it goes in this way around here. When you put it in, you get a message. Just carefully slide it in, don't force it. You get a message and it just click into place and it will say set up. You click yes and it sets it all up for you. And you can save your memories and, like I said, firmware and other things. There is actually a screenshot feature, which I think is where you hold down the mode button, screenshot, and that saves to your SD card. Now on the top you've got this Clarifier button. It's the last from the end. Push that and you get choices: Clarifier receive, Clarifier TX, Clarifier RX TX. So you choose which one's best for you. There's also a noise blanker up here. If you hold it, you can adjust the level like so with the function knob. You've got said about the split. Now you've got this Zin spot on top here as well. That's to do with CW, I believe. Never used that. And then the mode. So just so you know, you're going to need at least, I would say, a 30 amp power supply for this, or a battery that's the same as that. On the back, you've got PL259. Let's just show you all the connectors on the back. Actually, before I go to the back, I'm going to show you the AES speaker, because that's quite important. So included in the box is a speaker, as you know, which is quite unusual to have that included. So let's just do the settings on that. It's quite simple, really. So we'll turn it up, we'll find a station. Get into LSB. Turn it up. Yeah, talking of 4 meters, this radio does 4 meters HF, and all the Digimos like FT-8. So let's turn it up, and then we'll press this button here, function, and we've got 2 settings here, AES and 700 Hertz here. So we'll push AES, and we can adjust that here. Let's put it here. It's almost like a balance. You can decide how it balances between the external speaker and the built-in speaker, and they call it 3D sound. And the other one you can use, if you push it again, is the AES, which is just 2 settings with 1000 Hertz or 700. So you decide what sounds best for you. I think it does sound better with the external speaker on, but you can still get good sound from the built-in speaker as well. Right, let's just show you the back of the radio. So it's quite a slim design, this radio. It's virtually the same size as the 991 or 991A. You've got the tuner linear connection here, your ground, your external speaker. There is only one external speaker, which we're using for the AES speaker. You've got your ALC here, key for CW. You've got RTTY and data connector here, 6-pin by the looks of it, PL259 for HF and 6 meters. You've got a printer style USB cable there, then you've got your basic style USB cable, and then your external DVI. I believe it's the DVI-D, and you do need to do some research if you're going to use a lead that goes to HDMI, because if there's a return voltage, it can cause damage to the radio, so you definitely need to research that before you do that. But I recommend just get yourself a cheap monitor like I have, DVI to DVI, and then you're sorted. Okay, so I think we'll leave it as that. I mean, overall, it's an excellent radio. I think it's very good value at $1,099 to include the speaker. It's the latest SDR radio. It's a neat package for base station at home or taking it out mobile. I think you're going to have great fun with this radio. You know, you HF 6 meters, 4 meters, which you'll need an antenna for. You know, you can do all the Digimos. It looks very nice. You know, the only thing I would say that I wish it had was backlit buttons, because that's what the 991A has. But otherwise, I think everything else is pretty good. So I'm quite impressed with this. I have used the 7300 as well for many years, and I still rate the 7300, 705 as a top-end amazing radio. But this is the sort of Yaesu take on that style radio, and they've done a great job. And it's touchscreen, lots of buttons to push and twiddle with. So, and the tuner works fine, built-in tuner. You've got Vox, CW. It's just endless enjoyment for the ham radio operator. So 7.3, thanks for watching my channel. Please subscribe if you find this beginner's video helpful. 7.3, all the best.